Let's take a look at WebSockets. WebSockets are a computer communications protocol that establish a full duplex communication over a single TCP channel. Now, there's a lot going on here. So let's take a step back. Now, in traditional HTTP requests, HTTP is a protocol that is used by web servers and web browsers to communicate with each other. So when you write HTTP or HTTPS, this is a protocol that we are talking about here. HTTP is a half duplex protocol, and it is also based on top of TCP, which is a connection oriented protocol. What this means is that every time a connection has to be what this means is that there needs to be a logical path or a connection between the two entities for the data transmission to happen, and this path must exist in the entire cycle of the request response that is happening. It's very similar to a phone call. So what happens with HTTP is every time your browser sends an HTTP request to the web server, a connection is first established, and then that connection is used for sending the request from your browser to the web server. The web server acts on that request and it returns a response that follows the same connection route, and this response is sent back to the web browser. And once this cycle is complete, then the connection is released, and if there is a need for sending another request, then a separate connection is created. So every time you see on your browser console a new request going on, that's a new connection that is being made. Now, on contrast, WebSockets use a single connection, and in this single connection itself, they are able to perform full duplex communication, which means you can send and receive data over WebSockets without letting go of the connection every time you have to do so. Now, this makes it much more lightweight and very fast to establish connection, and once this is established, you can send data. It is compatible with HTTP, which means that it can work with port 80 and port 443, which are the most common ports for web transmission. 80 is for HTTP, and 443 is typically used for secure HTTP or HTTPS. Now, in terms of use cases, most likely the video that you are watching right now is being streamed to you over a WebSocket by the server of whatever platform this is used to host. And similarly, if you are looking at chat applications, or every time you play an online game with many other people and you are interacting with them, in all likelihood all those things are happening over WebSocket. Now, the complete picture of data transmission goes something like this. So there is a certain client, which could be your browser, any iOS, Android app, even a Unity game that you are playing, or any other application. And these applications, these clients, can send data to the web server in two ways, as we have seen. The first way is using a standard HTTP technique, wherein an event is generated every time an action is taken, and this event is sent using the analytics APIs to the web server. The web server has a component called as the handler or controller, depending on they are really the same thing, but depending on what language, what framework you are using, sometimes it's the term is handler, versus in other times it's a controller. So this handler takes these messages incoming, and it can optionally transform, parse, or validate these messages, and then decide on what to do. Similarly, the other way is using WebSocket. So the client establishes a WebSocket connection with the web server, and similarly there is a WebSocket handler or a WebSocket controller that is responsible for handling the messages that are coming on this channel. And again, once these messages are with the handler, they can optionally transform, parse, or validate these messages. Once these messages are with any handler, then these handlers can decide on what to do next with these messages. They can, for example, send these messages over a queue in RabbitMQ if that is the system, or they can send these messages over a Kafka topic or any other queuing system or a database or wherever they want to send this message to. In case of WebSocket handler, this can also happen the other way around, wherein WebSocket handler is consuming the messages from Kafka topic and optionally parsing, transforming or validating them, and then sending these messages over WebSocket to the client. So that's how data transmission happens.